What a play after play after play.
And he's got a lot of room to run, and she is taking over.
Rhodes, that's just the greatest conference in the country is showing out tonight, gentlemen. I cannot believe it. That is the greatest high school football game.
Thank you so much for being with us. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I'm Ken Marangolo. He's Tim Strachan.
Oh, man. I almost sent Luke earlier this week a whole bunch of tweets and pictures and things of kids getting back on the field, and then there was like too many, which is a great thing. To see all these young men and women getting out on the playing surface again. That's awesome. I'm so excited to start talking about that again, but excited for tonight. And I know he doesn't have one anymore, but in my mind, he always has a mustache.
Yes, he does.
I did it for Carol Holmes with the goatee. For Coach Clark, I had to bring back the mustache tonight. Just explaining to those who are wondering what's on my face.
People are going to wonder. People have wondered a lot, T. He's Kevin Ricka.
It looks like you bought a little bit of Coach Clark's old mustache, but you might have forgot a big portion of it back in the 90s.
Certainly not as thick. No
triple
doubt.
threat guest tonight. You guys know how I feel. This is my coach.
Yeah.
This is my guy. He's like family to me. But a triple threat guest tonight. A graduate, just like T, as a Terp from the University of Maryland. He won titles over in Forestville at Bishop McNamara. Won title in 1990. And he got his start at St. John's, and we went off to Catholic University and had a ton of fun together. So I can't wait for what's about to happen, fellas.
This is the WCAC Spectacular, where we cover the greatest high school conference in the land, getting things started with something we call Around the League. Brought to you by Lido Pizza. Starting out in Chantilly, Virginia, the PVI girls rising to number 4. In ESPN rankings, number 10. And Max Preps rankings, number 1 in your hearts. Hat tip to Scott Allen and his program out there in Chantilly. Awesome, awesome job in a tough season.
Max Preps is good, but I'm with ESPN on that one.
Me too. Another former Panther. Xavier Joyner named to the CACC team for Concordia Hoops. PVI alum, getting it done in the CACC. Good job, Xavier. Keep it up. Why don't you head over to right near my hometown of Annapolis, Maryland, where St. John's alum Richard Njoku getting a little dap for his defense at Navy. You know how I feel and we all feel when we see these WCAC athletes head to the service academies and shine.
We salute you.
We salute you, Richard. Awesome
Someone
job.
who's going to be defending us all soon is great.
Yes.
It's great to have him on the all-defensive team.
Well said, T. Indianapolis, Chuck Harris, a name we have all said. The freshman who led Butler, T. Butler, not Georgetown, to a win over Villanova.
Don't put that on me.
73-61, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and just infinite smooth from the all-freshman in the Big East, Chuck Harris.
Love
Awesome.
Chuck. Love him.
Jameer Young, another former WCAC standout from Hyattsville. First team All-Conference USA for the Charlotte 49ers.
He's a machine. This kid has been unbelievable since he stepped on campus there, and why he's not at a bigger program, I have no idea, but he's getting it done where he is.
If your last name's Young and you went to DeMatha, chances are you're having a good year. And what's this? More DeMatha news. That's not like us. But here he is, big center from Michigan, Hunter Dickinson, semifinalist for the Wooden Award, and
Big Ten Freshman of the Year announced today. It wasn't close.
How do you keep that out of the news? You got to put that in.
oh, he's going to be in the news and he's going to be in the NBA.
Michigan's been on fire, man.
On fire in the season and on fire on the recruiting trail. Get your bets in now. The Wolverines are going to be unstoppable in the postseason for a while to come. Over in Kensington, Maryland, Florence Sandblom from Holy Cross qualified for the Interscholastic Equestrian Association Zone 3 Finals. This is the first time in Holy Cross school history that a rider has qualified for this event. Don't see a lot of horse or equestrian events covered in the WCAC or on this show, I'll tell you right now, there's a reason why we're doing it. One more title gets her to the Nationals down in Perry, Georgia. Let's go. We got your back, Florence.
Let's go, Flo.
That was the first time a lot of those words came out of your mouth.
Lido Pizza. We thank you so much, our sponsor for this amazing time in the WCAC. Lido Pizza is square because they do not cut corners.
Hey, man, go to your closest Lido, order a bunch of food, and tell them there that we sent you. First Amendment Sports. Let them know. It helps our partnership, and it makes this whole community a whole lot better.
It makes everything delicious.
It makes everybody happy.
Delicious. Yeah. It's cheese, it's crust, it's sauce. Anything else you want to put on a pizza, it's pretty much delicious any way you slice it, which is what you do. And I will tell you guys this. Please hit that subscribe button for First Amendment Sports on YouTube. It's free. Hit the bell. Get yourself some notifications because you will be notified this Saturday. We intend to go live for the first time on the football field to cover St. John's and McNamara early in the day, all the way down in Leonardtown, Maryland, followed by a tilt against St. Mary's Riken, the host, and Good Counsel, the defending champion. Things that are going to happen that day. First time we're going to be down in Leonardtown. It's a big deal. First time we're going to see the defending champions, Good Counsel. That's a big deal. The first game under his head coaching belt for Pat Ward, our good friend and the friend of the entire league. It's going to be an exciting day, not to mention you get to see two of the greatest colors God ever put together in burgundy, maroon and gold. Sometimes I get my Redskins and my
Washington football team, all that stuff. It all gets so confusing.
We wear maroon and gold on game day. All right. It's an awesome night. It's a fun night. We got an amazing guest. Kevin, will you please help us?
I am so happy that Coach Clark is a patient man, and I appreciate his patience. A man who started his office WCAC career as a student at St. John's College High School and then eventually an assistant under the legendary Dooney Waldron, who everyone from St. John's in the league knows all about. Oh, man, look at the Instagram post from Coach Clark right there. That's unreal. CUA to Colorado. He went to Catholic University as an assistant under Dooney's son, Roe, another great guy. Off to Colorado and back home to McNamara, Forestville, where he won that ring in 1990 with the seam penny and the Cadillac left. In 1994, Coach Clark took over a 1-9 CUA program. Led him to national prominence, the single greatest turnaround in NCAA history. It's a tie to 8-2 in 1994. That's all, Coach. Back to CUA in 04-05 after stints at William & Mary, Liberty, William & Mary, and now the defensive coordinator at Virginia Military Institute. We got Coach in season right now, guys. During the year, during all this craziness, the Keydets are 2-0, coming off of one of the biggest wins in school history over number 10 Furman last week. 13 points given up and 9 sacks. You know Coach Clark had a hand in that. Let me welcome my guy in season, a man who I consider family and proudly call Coach, Tom Clark. How's it going, Coach?
It's going great, guys. T, Ken, Kevin, it's really a pleasure. The Lido pizza thing really got me because we don't have a Lido in Lexington, and boy, I missed that. But, little plug there for Lido pizza.
I had it for dinner last night, and I tell you, Coach, they still get it done. It tastes the same. They are a staple. In fact, I'd call them one of the greatest local franchises. A little bit of a teaser for our franchise show later tonight.
And when you come back into town, we know what we're going to do.
No question about it.
We're going to Lido's.
Yeah.
Now we're going to Lido's, and we're going somewhere. We're going to a lot of places with Coach.
We'll start at Lido's.
Well, it's been a long time since we had a chance to talk to you on our show, Coach. In fact, I want to say the last time was in the parking lot at University of Maryland before a Gonzaga St. John's WCAC championship game, and which was awesome. You joined Jeff Clay, who I think you know, Kevin Ricka, and myself to talk WCAC football, and here we are a couple years later, and we're still wrapped up in it, and so it's just an absolute pleasure to have you on, and I would be remiss if I didn't say that your name just comes up all the time. We've had an amazing run of guests, and their story and yours just are changeably. It's just a finely woven fabric.
Nice, Ken.
I'm working on it.
When you've done it this long, you get to know a lot of people, so it's really cool. It's a great pleasure to be on with you guys, and my heart is always been with the Catholic League, and you guys have done a great job with this show. So let's do it, man. Let's talk some ball.
Well, I mean, I know this is something that you can do, and I'm ready to do it myself, Coach. When it all started, just let's go back. St. John's, you get the itch. You speak to your guy. I'll let you do the talking. Your mentor, Dooney Waldron. Talk to me a little bit.
All right. Well, he is exactly that. Not only did he get me into the coaching business, but as my coach at St. John's, just I can't say enough in my admiration. But playing at St. John's for Dooney, I wasn't a great player, and I think that on top of that, got banged up a little bit. So, wasn't real fulfilled with my playing, but I love football, unbelievable. Come from a football family. My dad was an all-Met player at St. John's back in the early 50s. And so Dooney gave me an opportunity to coach. And I was a young guy. I was 20 years old. And I just finished up at Montgomery College, going over to the University of Maryland. And I was in it. I was coaching. He put me with the JV initially, and a couple years with the JV, and then brought me up as defensive coordinator. I think I was 22, 23 years old, but he had some confidence in me, and it was just an amazing experience. And truthfully, all I ever aspired to was to be a head coach in the Metro. I'm going to say the Metro Conference.
Sure.
The CAC now, but it was the Metro Conference back then. So that was really my big goal, and I kind of worked my way through 5 years with Dooney, and just learned everything from Dooney. Learned how to work, and I'll give you guys a quick story. When I was really a year into it, he sent me over to Anacostia to scout the Carroll Anacostia game. And I didn't know how to scout. I went over there. I did the best I could. I, drew stuff up, and I chicken scratched this, and came back with, a pile of papers, and put it on Dooney's desk. And he kind of did his Dooney look and looked down his glasses at this stuff that I'd put together. And I can't use the verbiage, but it was basically, this is not acceptable, and you're going to have to do better than this. And of course, that cut me to the core. But that's how he did it. That's how he made guys coach, and that's how he's had a bunch of good coaches over the years, and that's how he did it. And he was great with the kids too, and I owe a lot to him.
So I wanted to ask you, so you kind of moved through your coaching career, and if it is Cadillac left, let's talk about it. But it's, in sports, you find yourself in moments. And I think that you've been a part of a number of those kinds of moments. And I just wanted to ask you, when you're standing on the sidelines and it's not, 2020, and you don't have 10,000 people in your ear on a headset, and modern technology isn't feeding you all kinds of different, things. It's just you, your assistants, and your players. Can you take me through a moment or two where you had to make a big decision? And I mean, they're legendary decisions. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. I think that when you coach, and this is actually, believe it or not, my 41st year. I do think it's a big collection of moments, and when you kind of try to take it all in, it's that, and sometimes it's not, the critical call or the big win or the big loss, but it's the moments you had, on the practice field, or it's the moments you have with your staff, in just getting prepared. But you brought up Cadillac left, and I can clearly see myself. I was actually thinking about that the other day, but I can see myself standing there. It was hot as all get out. We were at St. John's, and it was going down to the wire. And this is true now. A guy named Phil Terry was on my staff, and a few minutes before we actually called the play, Phil came up to me, and he was my freshman coach, and he said, "Coach, don't forget Cadillac." And I swear to you guys, I don't know if I'd play if Phil hadn't said that to me. And so we we got into a fourth down and called Cadillac left, and it was something that we practiced. We did practice it every week. We had some phenomenal players, and they did it. Junior Bynum flipped it out there to Asim Penny, and he threw it across the field to Andre Martin, and DeMatha kids bit up on it, and it was a touchdown. And I can just see it. I can see it in slow motion, and I can see everybody just went nuts. The funny thing is that we had to hold on because DeMatha got the ball back, and they had enough time to get it and Penny intercepted the ball.
That's right.
Of course he did.
That's right. We were all there, Coach. We were all
three of us were on the hill.
We're on the hill watching that game
separately.
Yeah, we didn't know each other back then.
Members of rival factions.
And I still got a piece of that DeMatha flag. I do. It was amazing, an amazing day for McNamara. But go ahead, Kev.
I just want to say this as a historian, and I was then. Coach will tell you, I had Cadillac left on my wristband when I was at Catholic University. This did not die. I actually ran Cadillac left to Asim Penny at practice during the week. And I remember getting back, we didn't huddle, but getting back where we would stand by the line of scrimmage and being like, I don't know what's going on there.
Did you get a band around that wrist? That's like a meaty wrist.
Extra
That's
large
a lot
band.
of wrist.
Kevin, you remember the first game at Catholic, your freshman year and my first year at Catholic. We basically ran Cadillac left against Gettysburg.
Dan Burns.
Yeah, Danny Burns, and flipped it out there, and then it was a big play. So that moved forward from McNamara to Catholic U.
Coach, your Phil Terry story is one thing, but I scrambled before you called Cadillac left. I scrambled around. I hadn't played football in 2 years, guys. I tore my ACL before. This was my first game. Right. I couldn't breathe. When you called Cadillac left, if you watch tape, you will see the laziest center flip. And then I think I put both hands on my knees and just watched old Captain Burns let her fly and caught my breath. We won the game on that call. Once again, Cadillac left gets her done.
Yeah, Coach Favret called it. I didn't call it, but it did make its way from McNamara to Catholic.
Hey, man.
Marty let us know. He's going to take. He'll make sure. Yeah, he's going to put his signature on that one.
Yeah, Marty's a great coach. I enjoyed watching him a few weeks or months ago, whatever that was. That was fun watching him on there.
Oh, Coach, I enjoyed him slice and dice T. Strachan over and over again. It was amazing. You made some genius statement.
Well, the man didn't even really play football, but he's this genius, offensive guy. I asked if he was like Beethoven, and he didn't like that. He didn't like that comparison. He thought that was corny.
He 13th Symphony.
And he let me know. I was trying to pay the man a compliment.
Yeah. Marty's he is a great coach, and that's a story in itself. And of course, Marty was a really good basketball player at Catholic, and then I got to know Marty when I was the head coach at McNamara, and Marty was over as the offensive coordinator at Gonzaga, and I just thought he was a heck of a coach. And when I got the job at Catholic, he was my first call, and I had to, I didn't have a bunch of full-time coaches, so I had to, kind of put together a staff there, and I took Marty out of Gonzaga, and that was a big boost for me because he really kind of had the same, philosophy that I had, and we knew that we had to do something different, and he did an unbelievable job, and I kind of worked more on the defensive side at Catholic, and really let Marty, take control of the offense, which, as he's worked his way through his career, I don't know if there's a better offensive mind.
Coach, when you said this is your 41st year, you should have seen the faces we had when you said it. But we always want to hear about how many of your players made it to the NFL. Who were they? And we love to hear that. But looking back on 41 years, and you got a lot more left, but just kind of capture what a 41-year career means to you, and not just the NFL guys or on-the-field guys, the guys that maybe weren't NFL players, that when you see what they've accomplished in life later on, how proud you are of them and all the things you experienced. Because at some point early on, you said, this is going to be my career. And now 41 years later, how do you reflect back on that?
It's really just, it's scary because I can sit there and I can remember, really just going in, to my first year, with Dooney, and just really being, I was I wouldn't say I was a overly, I didn't have a big personality, and I was, I was very nervous. And then once I got into it, I said, man, this is, cause I love football, and there wasn't any doubt about that. But when I got into the coaching aspect of it, and just, dealing with the players, and dealing with coming up with game plans, and just loving practice. One thing about 41 years, you got to love the players, and you got to love practice. It can't be all about the games, and it can't be all about, the wins and losses. If it is, I don't think you do it this long. I think you do it because you just really enjoy coaching the players, being around the coaches, and those kind of relationships. But man, it's a big book of memories in terms of players, and I almost hate to kind of get too deep into it because I'll miss so many guys, just because it's impossible. But I get these flashbacks quite often of this game and that game and this play and that play. I bore the heck out of my young coaches at VMI, and I have for years, because I'll go back and I'll go to scenarios that this reminds me of this, and this is, and they're, I can tell they're like, okay, I've heard this before. All right, but there's a constant going back, flashback, and I've had some guys that played for me, that have gone on into coaching too. Mark Washington at McNamara is with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. He's the defensive coordinator, and Mark he's been on a short list in the CFL for head coaching jobs, and he will be a head coach. And I communicate with Mark a good amount. We spent some time together at the convention. Boy, these COVID things, two conventions ago, and he was a great player for me at McNamara. Went on to Rutgers, went on to play most of his career. Played a little bit with the Giants, and then played in the CFL for like 10 years and became a coach. And then John Butler now is, who played with Kevin, was a senior when Kevin was a freshman. And John played cornerback for us at Catholic, and went on to coach with me, and he's with the Buffalo Bills as the secondary coach there, and just probably a guy that's going to be a DC and maybe a head coach, one of these days. But it's a long list of guys in playing and coaching.
That would be awesome when Johnny Butler does
We were
that. We'll all
talking about him on
celebrate.
the way here.
Yeah, we sure were. But there's also a long list, Coach, of when Coach left the WCAC and went to Catholic University, of what he took with him. And the WCAC Spectacular, I just want everyone to know in the 90s what the climate was like. But, a lot of guys that went D1, and we had plenty. We know that. We've had a lot of them on the show. They went ahead and did their thing, but football wasn't done yet. And for the guys that weren't going to do that, you provided one hell of an option, and you brought 10 WCAC coaches on your 14-person staff, 10 from the WCAC. We had 20% of the roster on our undefeated season, 16 players from the WCAC, 7 offensive starters on a top 3 offense in the country played their ball in the WCAC. And let's not forget about our one defensive starter from the league, Big Bump, my man, Jaron Holdup, from right up the street on Harewood Road. We had some guys, Coach. So real quick, I know you knew where to go get these guys. You knew the same, but talk a little bit about that magic when you corralled the league and brought them over to Northeast.
Well, number one, Bob Talbot is the greatest Catholic University man I've ever known. And, Bob was the athletic director, and Bob was very, strong. He went to St. John's and followed the Catholic League. And I think that I didn't know Bob when I was at McNamara, but, I think he was familiar with what we had done at McNamara. And I was pretty close to Morgan Wooten. My dad, grew up with Morgan. They were very close. And I think that Morgan was helpful getting me that job. And Bob Talbot recognized that I had some strong connections and brought me in there. And he told me, he said, get these guys out of the Catholic League, and then go up to Philadelphia and get the guys out of the Catholic League up there. And kind of that's what we did. We did the DC, Philly, pretty much South Jersey, a little bit of North Jersey and New York, but we lived in the Catholic leagues and just sold Catholic University, sold Washington DC. But Bob Talbot put the whole thing together, and I'm forever grateful for him. But I also have to say this: your father, and I know you didn't want me to mention John, but
I didn't say not to mention him. Well, he gets a lot of mentions.
Yeah. Okay. Well, John and I are close friends, and we were friends when he was the head coach at St. John's and I was at McNamara, and that happens a lot of times. That coaches, head coaches get to be pretty good friends, or not. Sometimes real big enemies. But he persuaded you, I think, and was very helpful in you coming over, to Catholic and playing, which was just a big huge break for us, because there was good players at Catholic when I got there in 1994. The cupboard wasn't dry, but we needed a quarterback. Everybody needs a quarterback. T understands that as well as anybody, but you got to have a quarterback, and so we got one right away, and we had a different style of play. Funny thing is, nowadays what we did is relatively commonplace. I got to deal with it every week, just the multiplicity and the amount of play, the volume of plays. And once upon a time you had kind of standard formations you dealt with and standard plays. Now everybody is all over the place. But we were then, and we were kind of, I think, with Marty we were cutting edge, but having Kevin there gave us a chance to really to operate and do some things that were just different at the time. And we kind of combined my knowledge of the run and shoot and the spread offense with some basic tight end stuff, and by the end of your 4 years, Kevin, there wasn't much that we weren't doing in terms of throwing the ball, spreading the ball around, empty sets, motion all over the place. We were probably as good a screen team as there was, in the country. But with Billy Edwards, who was a former player of mine at Bishop McNamara, who played at UVA, offensive lineman. He was my offensive line coach. We could run the ball at you too. We had Matt Taylor and Noda Francesco, some thumpers. And
Kevin
so
was extremely happy that you weren't calling as many quarterback sneaks as his father did.
Not true. Not true. I wanted to run it every chance I got. I wanted the ball.
Yeah, I can relate one story on that because we're playing Albright in '97, and it's a huge game. They're number 3 in the country. We're in the top. We're somewhere too, but we're both 9-0. And back then in Division III, you had to be undefeated. They only took 16 teams out of 300, and it was one of those games where if we win, we're in. If we don't win, we're not. And we had a key play down on the goal line, and we called a timeout, I think. And I can't remember what the play call was. I think I do. I think it was Wilmington or something like that. But it was a play where it was basically a quarterback fake and quarterback run, almost like a quarterback sweep. And Kevin said, "Call that play because I'm going to score." And Albright had this middle linebacker who was a great player, and he had the play completely diagnosed, completely sniffed out, and those two met right about the goal line, and Kevin won the battle. Kevin got in, and then we went on to a pretty good win there, and got into the playoffs with that win. But Kevin liked to run it, liked to run the ball, and the idea of hook sliding, not happening. No, he was like a linebacker at quarterback with the way he ran the ball.
You had to be tough with the guys that were already in our program. I was just trying to be like everyone else, and you know that, Coach.
He's like a linebacker.
Those Philly guys were going to keep him tough, no doubt about it.
Don't shout out the Philly guys. You're from the WCAC. You understand? This is how we used to fight, T-Bird. Coach would be like, "All right, you guys go there, and we'd compete everything."
Ain't nothing wrong with gaining the respect of some Philly guys.
And that's, listen, man. The way these guys were, you understand. You hung out with plenty of them. And guess what? One of the ones that you grew up with, that Coach got to coach, that I've grown up with, a man who displays more toughness than anyone, and Coach and I got to talk a little bit about it in the pre-show. A guy that you have, a good council alum. Coach, how about our guy John Condon and what he's doing right now? I just diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic, and we're all following along and watching one of the toughest in WCAC history, one of the toughest in Catholic University history, do what he does. He's a man who's only cared about everyone else, and he's going to make us all feel okay at the end of this. What do you think, Coach?
Yeah, John, fond memories of John because he was always unbelievably enthusiastic. And I was telling you earlier about, when we beat Albright that day, I just have a clear recollection of John, and he was happier than anybody I've ever seen. And God bless you, John. I know your heart, and I know that you are battling, and all our prayers are with you, my friend. And I know that all your friends, and you got a lot of them, are right there with you, and you're going to beat this thing. I feel it.
Well, Coach. Yeah, it's awesome, and we got a lot of guys on the board tonight who have been saying some amazing things all day long. Really, when we sent out the thing that you were going to be on tonight. Wait, Coach, is it true that at any given time on every single day you're wearing at least one thing that's either maroon or gold? Is that true?
It's not.
It's not true. I thought someone told me that was true.
But I got to say that I definitely have a real confidence for Bishop McNamara, and again, I talked about Bob Talbot giving me a chance, but I was a grad assistant at there's Kiana. I was a grad assistant at Colorado when I got a phone call from Bishop McNamara, and as I told you guys earlier, that my dream was really to be a head coach in the Metro Conference, and when I got that call, I took that job, and I didn't think that, I didn't think I'd ever leave there, to be honest with you. So, I do love all the McNamara memories, and I got the opportunity to go be a head coach in college, which was kind of a surprise, and then I just really liked coaching in college, so I kind of stayed with that, but part of me, really just gets excited, like you guys mentioned, going to those Catholic League championships, and I try to make those games, and I recruit up in the area still, and I argue with so many guys about the Catholic League football, and just how it's the best in the country and best players, and I know a lot of guys in college coaching that are from a lot of places, Texas, California, Pennsylvania, and so we have some pretty good arguments, but there's a lot of great players, and there still is. There was then, and there certainly is today. But McNamara will always be near and dear. I know my wife. My wife always talks about McNamara as being her fondest memories of coaching and in my coaching career. And my kids were little then; it was kind of cool. But Tioka Jackson Field now, and Ty was on my first team at McNamara, and you guys know the story. I think you had Ty on, and
Oh yeah.
He thought he was a safety, and I didn't think so, and he wasn't real happy about it. But I told him,
He's now.
I said, Ty, you got to trust me on this, and of course he grew into just an unbelievable player. We had bookend Tioka and Mark Williams, and that first year at McNamara, we played for the championship against Carroll, and of course that was Moss Collins, and I can't tell you how much respect that I have for Moss and what a great coach he was. But man, oh man, there were some players on the field that day, and Marvin Graves was at quarterback, but he was under duress now. He had Tioka and Mark Williams. Obviously Mark played at Ohio State, and Ty played at Penn State, and then
nice, Luke.
I think Ty played. Yeah, I mean Ty played 14 years in the NFL. Mark played 4 or 5 years in the NFL. So, we had Graves on the run, but he made a couple plays, and of course they had Moten and
Poetry and Moten. I mean,
that's it.
They had a bunch of them too. So Lewis Johnson was a tailback, and but it was I can remember that game was at McNamara. We had delayed the game because of rain. It was supposed to be a Saturday. We played it a Monday afternoon, and there was more people at Bishop McNamara. I guarantee you it was the biggest crowd in history. Just thousands of people all over the place. And you guys know, Ken, obviously, McNamara, but just jam-packed on the track, on the hill around there. And I think it was a 12-6 final. We weren't prolific with our offense. We played pretty good defense that day. But Moss got us, and a couple years later, we got them, and we were able to, get a ring. But it's McNamara was a great place, great people.
Well, I tell you what, Coach, it is an absolute honor to have you on the show, and this makes two, and we don't want to stop here. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for all of our friends, because you have, and all the things you continue to do, and carrying on the legacy of the league, and continuing that career, and keep adding to that that legacy. It's been a privilege, and we can't thank you enough for being with us. And next time you're here, if you think we're kidding about Lido Pizza, we're not. That's happening, and I want to make sure we get a little highlight of that on the show for the next ASAP.
And then we'll go to the stained glass for some drinks.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. Coach Clark, thank you so much.
I appreciate it, guys, and all the best. Thanks.
All the best, man. Speaking of the best, Coach Clark, man, look at these guys. I mean, all the guys who know where we all come from. I mean, that's a guy who has a hand in it.
Listen, what I take because I want to give you the last word. But what I took from this really is a man who has spent 41 years plus, because he's got a lot more left, dealing with men who came to him as boys and became men under him, and he has helped so many get to the NFL, so many get to other reaches of their life. In the way he just talked about John, the sincerity and the emotion in his voice, you can only imagine the influence he had on so many guys, so many. And that in and of itself, Coach, is why I tip my hat to you and what you've been able to accomplish. Hearing Kevin and Jeff Clay and guys who have played for him talk so, passionately about it this many years later. I mean, it's just awesome.
Well, just like Jeff Clay and a lot of us that he brought together, not everyone's first decision works out, or maybe you never had a first. I tore my ACL. The Division I's thought I'd already, I was going to go play ball at James Madison for Lefty Drizel. It was going to be awesome. Done. ACL finished. The D3s weren't looking around. There was no one called. Everyone was evacuating the building for all the letters and the blah, blah, blah. And one guy was running into a burning building. And, that was my guy, obviously. And it became very clear very early. And I had nowhere to go. And this guy, I said, if you get the job at Catholic, I'm in. I mean, I haven't even applied anywhere else, man. But you know when you know. Yep. And it happens in life. Maybe it's rare, but when you know, and what a gift and a pleasure. I just want to say, I know with everyone, to Lori, Kevin, and Samantha Clark, the Rickers have been thinking about you guys. Tonight was awesome. Thank you guys for letting me get to do that with my guy. And I know he's yours too. He's all of ours. This guy transcends WCAC-ness.
Yes,
he's talking about the Metro.
Yeah, Luke, can we put that one picture up again from the St. John's days to kind of close out the segment? Does that not say it all? That is a coaching staff.
Those are those bike? Those are even the bike.
Yeah, he was coaching.
Well, of course they are.
softball.
Those are the prototypes. Sorry, listen, we got to give him a chance to defend himself. I just like the Instagram pose. They knew how to do the shoulder stuff back then. I'm just saying, you might have invented Instagram.
And there's that stash. There it is, prominently. Looking good. That's how I will always think of him, even though I knew he didn't have it.
Right.
At Maryland, we played against William Mary. I had chances to see him on the field and, reminisce and stuff like that. Just he is one and the same with this league. And
it's a fact,
listen to the names he mentioned, right?
I know.
We got to have a little bell every time Marvin Graves' names get mentioned.
Right.
Lawrence Moten's name getting mentioned. All these guys. Yeah. And the fact that they just roll off his tongue, that was 30-some plus years ago.
I know. It's awesome.
It's
awesome.
It's an awesome night, man.
People will say, well, why do you give up a Tuesday night every week for almost 6 years? And to talk about this league, and it's easy. It's guys like that. Yeah. It's the best men and women that you'll ever meet in your entire life, and he's at the top of the list. So another awesome opportunity to make sure people understand who we are, and also Chuck Rohan, Coach.
Man.
Wanted to make sure you knew he was thinking about you. He got a word to me today and told me to let you know. A lot of McNamara folks reaching out today.
Chuck and Sweetie, you're the greatest. Yep. That's another family Coach Clark brought me around. Yep. God bless.
We are going to be live on Saturday. We're talking about football right now. We're talking about the WCAC. We're going to be there. Two of Coach Clark's schools facing off at 2 p.m. St. John's versus McNamara to get things started down in Leonardtown. Thanks so much to St. Mary's Riken for coming up with a plan and everyone kind of working together. Follow that up with a Riken Good Counsel game later in the evening. Don't have to go anywhere. On your phone, on your tablet, on your computer, on the big,
Why would you?
wherever you want to watch it.
Put it
Why
on the
would you?
big
Put it on.
WCAC kids are going to be tackling each other for the first time in a long time.
It's going to be special. We're not missing the opportunity to be out there. We can tell you we don't know how many games we're going to be able to do this spring, but I will tell you we're going to do these. And we're going to have a good time doing it, and it's going to be a fun Saturday. It's going to be a baby step back to life as we love it.
It's not going to be normal.
That's right.
But what the hell has been normal?
Nothing.
For an entire year.
The hell is normal?
Nothing, yeah, I don't even know
That's
what
right.
normal is anymore.
We want to say thanks again to all the folks who continue to give us these stories of the kids in this conference who are doing amazing things. They will continue to be featured on a weekly basis on this very show. All the great things that the teachers and the administrations are doing to help the community in what has been just a crazy, crazy year. So many people in need. So many people getting a hand up from folks, wearing our colors. All schools in this conference. Representing that first C, as we always talk about in our conference, what it means, and that is what we're taught and how we live, and we appreciate being able to tell that on a weekly basis. We will be back doing this very same show next week. T, who do we have?
Next week we got Chris Adoy Atcham to not only talk about his soccer ability, but overcoming cancer and still playing at the top level. It's an unbelievable story.
Plays for our DC United.
DC United. Looking forward to it. Please check in next Tuesday for an inspirational and fun show.
And then in 2 weeks, come on back again on Tuesday night. We will have AZ Fudd, the greatest women's basketball player prospect ever. One of the best players you'll ever get a chance to watch shoot the ball, men or women. She's just an amazing player, an even better person. Looking forward to getting a chance to talk to her about her plans coming out of this season, on her way to, I'll tell you what, get coached by Gino Oriema up in UConn. It's going to be a show with her and Paige Beckers.
She could do anything on planet Earth.
Yes.
On or off the court.
It's going to be fun.
Wouldn't be surprising.
This was the WCAC Spectacular. He's Tim Strachan.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, all coaches. I think tonight's coach was a great example of what coaches can mean to the people that they coach and that they have influence on. Also, a day late, hats off to all the women in sports.
He's Kevin Ricca.
Thank you to my coach. Aside from my dad, I only picked one that ever taught me how to play football. It was this guy, and how lucky am I, man? And to get to have him back tonight was special. Thanks, Coach Clark. Appreciate your time, my friend.
And on behalf of Coach Clark and every coach that's out there right now, hats off to the parents. I've been hearing the stories. Driving your kids from state to state, from city to city, making practices in the morning, making practices at night, making sure your kids have a chance to play something, no matter what school it is. I know you're out there. I know it's hard, and I know you're going the extra mile, quite literally, for your kids to have a chance to play. So any of you WCAC athletes watching us right now, say thank you to your parents. It means a lot to them, and I'll tell you, it means a whole lot to those coaches too. This was the WCAC Spectacular. Thank you to Luke David for making us look good. Thanks again to Coach Clark. We'll be back on Tuesday. See you then.